know y'all think I'm crazy for having all the lasers, but I've only had them for 3 months, or like the first one, not counting that one. That one doesn't count. The one that I actually started making money on. I've had them for 3 months, and I've made $30,000. So let's talk about it. Before we talk about it, let's give you a brief tour of the lasers we do have. So we've got my initial laser. This is a 30 watt Raycus fiber laser. Garen's information is down below. You can message him on WhatsApp. It's got a Cloud Ray or something fan. I'll link it down in the description. Blast gate. This is the second fiber I purchased. It is also a 30 watt, but it is a MOPA M7, which basically means it has more frequencies and is better for doing stainless steel and those kind of tricky metals because it has basically more ability to modify its laser. The third laser, this is actually the very first laser that I bought. Originally I was going to sell it to my nephew. He was going to run it and use it and do his own projects and then also do mine, but that did not work out. So this is a 55 watt gantry CO2. On the inside we do have, oh, I can't really open it, the Pi Burn rotary. So lately we've just been doing rotary stuff on it. And then the fourth and the most recent laser is the Galvo CO2. So it's the same as the gantry, it's just a Galvo lens. So it's produced up here and shot with mirrors, and it's for the same thing. They'll do tumblers, anything organic. The fiber lasers were purchased to do pens. That's it. I bought them to do pens. Turns out they're profitable in a lot of different things, which is why I bought a second one, because a lot of my orders tend to be big orders, and sometimes it's nice to be able to get them done faster. The gantry was my initial hope into doing lasers because I was paying another laser person thousands of dollars to do patches and tumblers for me, and I thought, Darren, you should do it yourself. Well, that didn't really work. The laser is now back. Sorry. So we are going to do it, but I bought the Galvo CO2 because it's faster and easier to do repeatability stuff for things like keychains, mouse pads, kind of the quick turn items that I want to produce in bulk. So that was why we got the Galvo CO2. Now, $30,000. That is nothing to be ashamed of at all. Like, that's decent money. So let me log in to my system here so I can explain just the numbers. So the first thing we're going to look at is the actual machines. This does not include the gantry machine because I haven't tracked that because originally it wasn't supposed to be here. So if we are just looking at the new laser, the Galvo CO2, as well as the fiber lasers, I have spent roughly $13,000 between the cost of the lasers, shipping, Alibaba fees, import fees, etc. There have been a few other expenses like the tables, the suction system that are not included, but right around $13,000 is kind of where we're sitting. I never have pens around here. I had a drawer full of a bunch of them that were mess ups. People keep taking them. Now, the other thing that I want to consider with my laser is the actual inventory. Like, how much money have I spent on stuff? And the fiber lasers were all meant for pens. So if we're looking at just what I've spent in pens, just in pens, we got about $15,000 that I've spent on pens. Mind blowing. I have brought in some other things, and I have some things on the way. Like, we've got some tumblers on the way. I've got some keychains that I bought. Now I've got some USB chargers and charging bricks. Those are not in here, but that would probably add another couple of $1,000. Not the tumblers, that's excessive because they make you buy a ton of them, and that's thousands of dollars. But it'll save me thousands of dollars. So if we're just looking at the fiber lasers, the one Galvo CO2, the purchase of this inventory, plus adding a couple thousand more for the other random bits and stuff that I got, that's $30,000. So you look at that and think, okay, Darren, you've only made $30,000, but you've spent $30,000. Well, I don't know about you, but it's been 3 months. And if I have made $30,000 and spent $30,000, and it's been 3 months and it's now effectively a net zero, that is freaking awesome. Because most equipment, it's not like most equipment is not paid for, let alone the material that you have to use to make it function. So to have a 3-month turnaround time to have it paid for, it's nice. As an example, this printer, all in all, with the printer and the Duplo and everything needed to run it, cost me probably $80,000 to $100,000. I don't know the exact numbers, but $80,000 to $100,000 for that setup. It probably took me like 3 years, which I think I'm just barely at like 3 years, to recoup the amount of money. Like, let's compare. So if we look at this year printing that I've done in-house, so this year I have sold $11,000 worth of printing. This whole year. Granted, there's some outsourced printing in there, but for printing on my Konica, I've sold $11,000. Let's look at last year. Last year, printing, I sold $32,000 worth. So a machine set that I spent basically $100,000 with, $100,000 on, between last year and so far this year, $40,000. There have been some jobs that I could have run on it that I outsourced, but not enough that even within a year and 6 months has it sold enough to pay for itself. It pays for itself, meaning it covers the payment and all that, so it's worth having and it gets me jobs and it's helpful. I'm not saying that, but the fact that I have the lasers, so let's come back to this year. So the lasers, $30,200 since March. So that's why I keep buying them and why I keep pushing it. Just today I had a customer stop by that they bought scissors. 2,800 pairs of scissors. Guess what we're gonna do to them? We're gonna laser engrave them. 2,800 pairs of scissors. Typically something like that is like $1 a piece. They don't take very long, so it's nice. Had this customer buy these keychains off of Amazon, charge them $1 a piece. Takes like 30 seconds to do the engraving on the back. So that's why I've been pushing laser, and why I think it is totally worth having, and why I bought the 4th one, and why I'm gonna keep the gantry, because it's good to have a backup. So there's a ton of money in laser, but there's also a ton of money in niching, whatever you want to call it, down. Most of the sales have been pens. It does get me these other things. They're super nice. Doing keychains, doing water bottles. Like, water bottles are nice because they got high margin in them. But the low cost item, the fact that I can sell these decorated for $1, finding a niche product to be able to sell and push has been super helpful. So look at your business with whatever machines you might potentially already have and see what you can do to like productize it, to figure out something that you can sell, that you can push, or even look into lasers. It's a great addition, especially if you're already doing print and promotional products, or maybe you're just doing promotional products. Like, I just saw a really big need for this specific pen, so that's why I brought it in. That's why I'm doing it, and it's worked wonderfully. Not all of my bets have paid off. We got this $100,000 block of steel that honestly, if I would have known how profitable fibers are, I wouldn't have bought it. It's like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to spend $13,000 on 3 lasers that make way more money. Like, looking at large format flat, I've sold $15,000 this year. So the $100,000 machine, I've sold $15,000. If we'll compare last year as well, just for kicks and giggles, last year, large format flat, $20,000, which is not terrible. I didn't have it the whole year, but it just goes to show, like, it doesn't matter how much you spend on a machine, it matters like the potential business behind it. And that's one of the things that I love about the lasers, is that there is so much potential business. Like, just the things I have on hand: keychains, USBs, chargers, USB charging bricks, journals, pens, tumblers, water bottles, coins. Like, there's just so much that you can do. So much, like scissors. Like, I would have never thought, but my customer, for whatever reason, ordered the scissors for their stuff. They didn't get them branded, or didn't have time to get them branded from wherever they got them. So now they're coming to me. So it's just these random things, these random products. So look around at your business, but I recommend looking at lasers. I know it could potentially take away from some of my work, but I feel like there's a lot of work to be had, especially like if you want to get into decorating firearms. People pay hundreds of dollars to do one item. So keep that in mind. But hopefully this answers why I've been doing lasers. As far as like where I get them from, Garen, his WhatsApp information is down below. I don't get anything. He's just been super helpful. He said that he would give me something, but people have bought stuff and he told me that they bought stuff, and that's great. I just want you guys to be taken care of. So buy from Garen, buy from someone else, but freaking awesome. I love mine. I bought the 3 Galvos from him, and it's been great. So, but shout out to Firesprint for sponsoring today's episode. If you want something great but don't want to deal with the headache of buying all this stuff, use Firesprint. They do lots of different things: banners, stickers, posters, signage, all sorts of fun stuff. They got a bunch of things that they'll do fast and free shipping on. So fast turnaround, free shipping. If you're in the Omaha, I can't remember where they are. But they also have local pickup. So if you're close by, you can go pick your stuff up for free when it's ready. So you got a brand new warehouse, huge warehouse. I definitely want to go see it. Hopefully someday I'll get out there and we can take a tour. You guys can all come along. Thank you for sponsoring the video. You guys can save 10% off your first order using the coupon code down in the description. Thank you as always for being here, Print Fam. Can't talk. Print Fam. Thank you, Cam, for editing the video. We'll see you in the next one.